I call the meeting to order at 7:04. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, at this point, I'd open the floor to any citizen comments. All right, so now the chair's report. The biggest news, I guess, is the naming of Dr. Julie Kuchenberger as our interim superintendent to begin July 1st. We're still in the process of coming up with a contract and working that out with Dr. Kuchenberger, but we're very excited to have her lead our district in this time of transition. Hold on a second, I'm sorry, I just want to try to open up an email. The other thing I wanted to just touch on quickly was having a hard time finding the email. During our May 10th, no, I'm sorry, our May 8th meeting, there were some statements made in conversation that were perhaps misconstrued, and the school committee got a letter from, can I find it? I just had it up. From the head of the English department at the high school and middle school. It wanted just to discuss that the, can I find it?
He wanted to be sure that the community understood that the great care that teachers take in around using that offensive word, the N-word. They take great care to teach the power of that word, that it's meant to dehumanize, and what he was expressing was, in my defense of teachers and students who use that word in the context of literature, that he wanted to make sure that our community understands the great care that teachers use in teaching that word and the sensitivity around that word, the power of that word, and that's designed to dehumanize. So that was from the department, Bob Hickey.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter.
And I responded to his email.
So, yeah, no, I did too privately, but I just wanted to bring it up on his behalf.
Yep.
And our behalf also.
And I agree completely with his concern.
So.
And yours.
Great. So that's actually all I have for today, but thank you for helping me out with that.
And I thank Bob Hickey for his email as well.
Definitely. So on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. A couple of announcements. So first off, on Friday, our schools will welcome our local veterans from the AP Gardner Post 94 of the American Legion from Hamilton to commemorate Memorial Day. Each school will hold a brief assembly to honor our veterans, and that'll include an address from U.S. Navy Commander retired William Martin on the meaning of Memorial Day. It's a great day. You know, I enjoy following the veterans around all day. It's a good.
Would you recommend that school committee members show?
If you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the schedule is
You can
somewhere?
check with Donna, and she'll actually give you the schedule for the day.
Okay. Thank you.
I think the first one is at Bucher at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then next week, and starting actually this week, we're going to be ramping up for commencement activities for the high school's graduating class of 2019. The senior prom will be held tomorrow night, May 23rd, at the Beaupart Hotel in Gloucester. Yes, Lauren's ready to rock and roll.
That's nice.
And then next week, senior farewell will take place on Wednesday, May 29th. And then on Thursday, May 30th, we're going to institute a new tradition. During the school day, members of the graduating class of 2019 will return to their respective elementary schools in their caps and gowns. And they'll process through the school and be congratulated by the students and their faculty.
Great.
We
Great
did this
job.
as a pilot last year at Cutler. It was really well received, so we're gonna do it at all 3 elementary schools. So it should be great. That should be great to see. And then that evening, Thursday, May 30th, candlelight will take place at the high school at 8 o'clock p.m. So school committee members are invited and have preferential seating for that. And then finally, graduation ceremony will be at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, June 1st at the high school. And again, I think members should have been contacted
Yeah.
from the high school
Yeah. Yeah.
to get seating arranged.
And are school committee members going to be giving diplomas to their students?
If you'd like. I thought, she said they were supposed to reach out to you. If they haven't yet?
Nope.
No.
We have, I
Mr.
have
Pre-
asked and there was no response.
Eric Tracy's going to reach out to you. I asked about it today, so, absolutely.
I'm going to refrain from that.
You don't have to.
For the sake of my
If
child.
you'd like, you don't have to. Okay, and then we have a couple other end-of-the-year events coming up. On May 28th, we're going to have Parents' Night for incoming 6th grade students at Miles River Middle School. That's Tuesday after Memorial Day, the 28th at 6:45. And then the 8th grade science fair is going to be Tuesday, June 4th at 6:45.
Good. Excuse me. I just want to note that I actually found that letter and I sent it to be added to the packet for tonight. So if anyone who wants to see that letter from Bob Hickey, it'll be in the packet tomorrow. So I apologize for not having it up ahead of time. So on to the consent agenda.
Can I just mention something that wasn't mentioned?
Sure.
This weekend on Sunday is a big event for the Friends of the Arts. They hold the Melody Miles Run. And obviously you can.
Saturday.
Saturday. You can, it's on Saturday?
Yes.
So how is the car wash going to be on Saturday? At the same time, in the same place?
It's going to be a wet run.
Oh, okay.
Car wash might be like later. I know last time it was like 11 to 1.
Okay, so, yeah, and it's a great event. You do not have to run. I can tell you, you do not have to run. You can walk, and it's a lot of fun, so, and supports a great cause.
Thanks, Michelle.
And apparently, another event will be happening, which will be brought up later, I suppose.
I don't know if she's looking at you.
I am.
So. All right, move on to the consent agenda. Do we want to pull any of the minutes or any?
Minutes, warrants, or field trip proposals?
I would like to pull the field trip to Spain.
Which one is that?
C.
See.
Okay.
SIC or?
Well, see. Say.
Nope. See the letter C.
Say.
Like what I did there? Okay.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of warrants of, field trip for, which one? Oh,
Spain.
Spain.
Yep, that's
Minutes including April 24th, 2019, May 8th, 2019, warrants April 26th, 2019, May 2nd, 2019, field trips for National History Day competition, College Park, Maryland, and ski trip for February 2020 to Austria and Munich, Germany. There can be no changes to these.
Do we have a second?
second.
So all those in favor? That's 6. That's goes. All right, what's going on with Spain?
So I had a question, which is, in reading the information, it looks that the students will be staying in homes with host families. And I know here in Massachusetts and in our district, if you want to go on you want to go on a field trip, you have to get the FBI fingerprinting, and there's query checks. And there was no information in here as to what kind of background checks are done on those families where the children will be staying. So I was curious as to how that would happen, because I don't believe every hosted child will have an adult chaperone staying with them, given the student to chaperone ratio.
That's Kevin.
Yeah, and she
She's not here
unfortunately
tonight.
could not be here tonight because she's in Washington with the 8th grade.
Okay.
So, just looking through and seeing if there's anything in there. I'm not seeing anything.
So should we move that to the next meeting for approval?
Was Kevin going to come in the next meeting, or were we?
No, the plan, yeah, she couldn't make, I didn't ask her to, I just, I know she's eager to get this taken
Ask.
care of because I
Did,
think they want to.
is this the same program that they did this past
It
spring?
was the same plan, my understanding is it's the same trip they took this year.
And we approved the plan this year?
It would have been approved last year, yeah. And I didn't bring it up last year, but I did have a couple of parents approach me over the course of the last year that, especially when we host the families from, the children from China, that there doesn't really seem to be any background checking, and then that made them feel uncomfortable about sending their child on a trip like this. So I wanted to bring that up, so.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, but host family.
Why don't we table this so we can at least get an answer
Yep.
from Kevin, whether, even if she's not coming in, just to satisfy that.
Mhm.
All right. So on to new business. Up first, the student government presentation.
You guys are up.
Hello again. I'm I'm Brianna Borick, and I'm the Student Government Advisor. Before I turn it over to our student body officers to give you a quick update, I want to congratulate them on their 4 incredible years of high school and thank them and acknowledge all their hard work as student government, student body officers all year long. So here they are.
Hello, I'm Will Glovsky, and I'm the secretary of the student body. And I have 2 main updates. One of them is all-school events, which we had 2 big all-school events recently. Acapella night, which went really well, and the Fab Tech race at Patton Pond, which we have one of the 2 proud winners here with us today. Go Lauren. And that also went really well. Both were really fun. And then second, like the Northeast Regional Advisory Council update, as I'm retiring member this year. We have 2 new, but 3 delegates from our school this year going to the Northeast Regional Student Advisory Council. There's Nora Sullivan-Horner, Jack Stewart, and Ronnie Flanagan, one of which, Nora Sullivan-Horner, has been elected as a state student advisory council delegate, who will be taking my spot as like the Hamilton Wenham representative on the state student advisory council. And yeah, so we're really excited for them, and we hope they do great things.
Will,
Thank you.
where are you going to school next year?
Dartmouth College.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jack. I'm the student body treasurer, and I'm here to update you on some of the senior events we planned over the past month. And the first thing we did was a Red Sox trip for the whole class, and that was around 2 weeks ago, and that was fun. And then we also went to Six Flags as a class on Friday, and we had like around half the class go to that, and that was also good. And we were also planning, as you know, prom tomorrow. Do that too. That's basically it.
So, how about you?
I'm going to Dartmouth too.
Congratulations. I kind of figured that one, but,
Yep.
so, nice job.
Hi, I'm Lauren Verge. I'm student body president. So I think this is our last time we're presenting, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the year. So right now, the one thing that's kind of still ongoing is the amendments to the student handbook that we talked about. And I believe it's kind of a long process because it has to be approved by the school council, and I think they only meet once a month or something like that. But it's still in the works. So just the things that we talked about were the hat policy, the tardy policy, the rounding policy and how that works, college visit policy, and then also like the grading scale. So it was really exciting to have our voice heard about those issues that were important to us, and we'll kind of see how that plays out within the coming weeks. And then we also, another big thing we did this year was talk to Mr. Menegoni about the new vaping policies, which you guys saw the presentation on, and there was a lot of great feedback about that. And then kind of the big thing that we started this year was the HW Gives Back initiative, and that was really successful. We kind of lost momentum in the middle of the year. We were all kind of busy with midterms and things like that, so we're hoping to talk with the student government, like the new members this summer, to talk about like how we can keep up that momentum and like kind of delegate more, so it's not on just the 4 of us. And that's a really exciting project that we hope to continue throughout the years. So yeah, that's all. I'll be going to Northeastern.
Thanks, Lauren.
Northeastern.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the vice president. And just to kind of wrap up, we have our elections next Wednesday. I believe it's the 28th. Class elections and student body elections. Student body obviously includes president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. The class elections include those same 4 plus 4 student representatives. So those will be taking place next week. Yeah, and I'm going to UMass Amherst.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Amherst.
Great, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks for a wonderful year, and really all the best in your future endeavors, guys.
Good luck. See you next week.
So. All right, up next, the Bucher Playground Committee. Presentation of gift for Phase 2 of Bucher Playground Project. Excuse me.
Good evening. Lisa Bile, Monument Street in Wenham, and I'm accompanied by fellow volunteer Amber Wolfenden. Nice to see you all. I think a return visit for many of us, but I know there are a couple of new members, so I'll give you a little background. A few years ago, former Bucher principal Brian O'Donoghue approached us. There was a surplus. Friends of Bucher had a surplus of funds, and they asked Brian what he would like to do with that. And he said we could really use a new playground. At the time, we also had lost a classmate and friend, Jennifer Mayo, and he wanted to dedicate that playground in her memory. Excuse me. So, as many of you know, the playground went in last summer. So that was great. There were actually 2 phases to the project. There was the playground phase and now the brick patio phase. The brick patio is significant for 2 reasons. First, Brian had a vision that it could be a place for students to gather and just socialize. If, to the extent anyone remembered Jennifer, they could just remember her there. But also that space could double as an outdoor classroom when the weather permitted. And also that brick patio is used, that was a huge fundraiser for us. All the bricks that we sold helped us tremendously to get this project done. So we're here tonight. We've collected a significant amount of money. We'd like to gift that over to the school district for purposes of having the brick patio installed. So I think we have a budget put together. It's somewhat rough, but it starts the conversation anyhow. And we would like to make that presentation for the school committee's consideration.
And can you tell us how much it is?
So we have, to date, it's almost $17,000 in hand. I'm sorry, actually, I should have noted that the Friends of Bucher meeting Monday, they did approve the $3,000 donation. So we are up to almost $17,000. And from what we can gather so far, in terms of expenses, we're about $16,500. So right now we're approximately $300 over what we think we need. We know that there are some ancillary costs associated with the project. So to the extent of those costs, the footprint of the patio may need to be reduced so that other expenses can be met.
And how many bricks have been purchased?
I want to say it's between 120 and 130. They vary in size, but I think that's a pretty good number.
Okay.
It's page 107 in your packets. It literally just took me that long to try and flip through here to figure out where we were.
I just want to say thank you for undertaking this project and for
Yeah, thank you. That's
really
been a lot of
enhancing our
work.
school grounds and our community.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And plus, you've stuck with it the whole time and really spearheaded everything.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. Is there any plan to put like a permanent tent over the structure, like one of those all-season tents or three-season tents?
No, there
I only
isn't.
ask because when I was teaching at the middle school, I would use the outdoor classroom space. And it was either too hot or it was raining. So,
No, at this point, we've, you know, we just want to get this wrapped up, so.
She wants to be done with the
Lisa would like
project.
to be able to go to the middle school with her children.
Don't forget the magnitude of the amount of money you guys.
Yeah,
raised.
that's-
Yeah, the
That's-
mag-
I mean, we spent $138,000 last year, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
that
Yeah, thank you.
plus this is, I mean, it's huge.
Thank you.
I think it's a testament to our community
Yeah, huge.
and the parents and to
Everyone's been-
Jennifer and just the strong knit community we live in. So thank
Right.
you for spearheading that.
I couldn't agree more.
And that was on the heels of $150,000 for a Winthrop playground.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Tremendous, just very, very generous people and
Mm-hmm.
vendors.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people volunteered their time and
Yep.
gave materials and supplies and all those people, so,
Right,
a lot of people.
I agree.
So we're looking to move to accept,
Yeah, but I don't see an actual number here. That's,
so 16,874 is the total, right?
16,543.56, right?
okay.
No,
With
16,874.
16,874 is the total.
Is
And
that-
then that's the total of,
Oh,
with a little bit of
You
a
want the
surplus.
top number?
The total of the funds available,
So,
at the
Okay.
top.
Yeah, right.
At the,
107.
English teacher.
Yeah, I know.
On page 107.
And the top number below.
okay, so the 16,874.
So we're accepting the donation, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
I move that the Hamilton-Wenham Regional School Committee accept the donation from the, is it Friends of Bucher?
Friends of Bucher,
Friends of
yes.
Bucher in the amount of $16,874
For the purpose of.
for the purpose of the Bucher brick patio.
Second?
All those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
This
We
was
appreciate
above
it.
and beyond, really. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. So are we.
I'll meet you there.
So now, everybody's favorite agenda item. Vote for the last day of school this year.
Correct.
I pick tomorrow.
If you'd like, Dusty might have an issue with that.
My daughter second.
Do you want me to make a
But it's,
motion?
but it's,
or
it's
do
a
we have any
well-placed
discussion?
day. It's
Just
super
move?
exciting.
Yeah, you just want to move to set the
I
last day
just
of
want to make sure
school.
that there was no
Um,
discussion, that you weren't going to say anything. Okay.
No, it's just, it's June 14th.
I move that the Hamilton-Wenham Regional School Committee vote to set the last day of school as June 14th, 2019.
Second.
So, all those in favor?
All right.
So,
It's weird because I have one at home, and she's like, I don't know what to do.
all right.
I
'cause
said,
it's
I've
gonna
got
hope
errands for
college
you.
now early,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So
Go to
she
work.
finished last week, and so
I had one in-
my son's always used to listening to the, I have to wake him up each morning because he's used to listening to the shower going.
So,
And then he gets up from
Right.
that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
all right.
No, I can't.
Up next, the 3-year student transportation contract recommendation. Jeff?
All right, thank you. So next, we'll talk about 2 contracts I'm recommending the school committee approve. The first is for a student transportation contract. So you could refer to the letter that I wrote to the committee and put in the Dropbox a couple of weeks ago. It's Exhibit I. I don't know what
Page
page it's
110.
on.
Page 110.
But on 110. So I'll just simply read the letter. You can ask questions, and then I've written a motion for the committee's consideration. So on March 22nd, 2019, I issued an invitation for bid for the provision of school bus transportation services. The IFB covered the 3-year period beginning July 1st, 2019, and ending June 30, 2022. Responses to the IFB were due to me by 10 a.m. on Thursday, May 2nd, 2019. One IFB submittal was received by the deadline. I have determined that the sole bidder is responsive and responsible and offers the lowest total price in accordance with our rule for award. Therefore, I'm pleased to recommend to the school committee that the district enter into a 3-year contract with Salter Transportation Incorporated for a total contract amount for regular route buses of $2,414,100 even, which includes a year 1 FY20 contract amount of $767,800 even. The year 1 FY20 contract amount is $61,080 less than our FY20 budget placeholder, which is great news. So I'll take questions, and if there are none, I've drafted a motion.
Jeff, do we know why we only get one bid? And I know this has been going on, but, I mean, I've heard other I've seen it on the school committee listserv saying, why do we only get one person who bids?
So I have a theory. So we had 10 people pull the IFB package, which is this 100-page document. We had 4 of those 8 were marketing firms. The other 4 of the 8 were reputable bus companies. One, a major player with 25,000 vehicles in service on the East Coast. So I was expecting 2 or 3 submittals. So what I've been told in the industry is that, you know, most of the small communities like this, and like the town where I come from, the services, the contract is quote-unquote owned by the incumbent, and there seems to be a territorial, you know, an unwritten rule that other small regional firms don't necessarily compete. I was surprised to see this national firm not compete because they don't care.
Right.
They'll play.
Yep.
But they didn't. It was probably just too far off the beaten path, too expensive to service.
Okay.
But those are my theories.
Okay.
I'll never know. The good news is that we got one bid,
Yeah.
but the pricing is extraordinarily favorable.
Right.
Oh, good.
So,
It's flat.
Yep.
Year over year, it's flat
Which is
at
great.
$295 per day per bus, which is unheard of.
That's
So,
And why do you think that? I mean, what's your theory on that, why it's flat? Just they're not trying to bleed?
yeah, I mean, he's got a profit model, and he can meet it at $295
Yep.
a day, despite the fact that, you know, he's struggling to get and pay for drivers.
Yeah,
So I was shocked.
wow.
So to me, my advice to you, that this is a no-brainer.
right.
Take it and run.
Take it on.
Yeah. And is the discount the same for the 2 more years after that?
So we only budget and
I see,
appropriate
yep,
one
okay.
year at a time.
Perfect, yep.
But the increase factor that he's built in year 2 and year 3 is extraordinarily affordable.
Okay,
So while we didn't budget for that,
Yeah.
it's very favorable to the district.
that's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
So my question is the remaining amount split evenly against the next 2 years, or is it escalated in a different way?
It's a modest increase.
Okay, and do you know what
in
that
year
is?
2. I can
Since,
tell you what it is, yeah. Bear with me. So it goes from $767,800
yep,
to $804,400 to $841,900 for a total of $2,414,100.
It's roughly 40,000 a year.
Yeah, it's.
And what's
it's
percentage-wise, like?
Probably 4%.
4%.
If I had to do the math in my head.
I'll bet you it's 4%.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
But again,
Jeff.
the point is that that beginning baseline.
Yeah, you're
is
starting off with a plus.
It's
Yeah.
extraordinarily.
Right.
I mean,
4.66%.
let's go back to the budget conversation when we put that folder in. So the rationale there was $320 a day per bus, which was the very low end of the market rate. So that was the increase, right? So it was roughly 60,000 that we built into our budget that has since been approved. And they came back in flat to the current year, which I would have never imagined.
Right.
So, and then on top of that, you get 4% and 4%. So you're not even close to what I was anticipating.
Right.
Right?
Wow.
I think it's favorable.
No, that's fantastic. Finally, good news in the budget front.
It was good to get good news for
Yes.
once.
That's good.
Are we ready for the motion?
Definitely.
I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee approves the district's CPO's recommendation to enter into a 3-year contract with Salter Transportation, Inc. for a total contract amount for regular route buses of $2,414,100, which includes a year 1 fiscal year 20 contract amount of $767,800. The contract with Salter Transportation, Inc. shall be compliant with the requirements of MGL Chapter 30B and shall have been reviewed by council. The school committee chair shall sign the contract on behalf of the school committee.
Second?
I'm going to vote yes, but we need to keep in mind that the increase from year to year is over 4%. And if the towns are only giving us 2.5% or 3% or 4%, that we're obligating ourselves to something that's more than that increase. And we'll have to figure out ways to either have overrides or make adjustments, so.
We're already starting
yeah.
under budget, though.
I'm not a math person, but the discount that we get for the first year should help offset the extra 2% that the town's giving us, correct?
It should,
Yeah.
it should, but we're committing to 4% increases.
Yep.
Over almost 5%. It's 4
I-
3/4 and 4 2/3.
I would say, and again, this is out of my area, but I would say we have faith in what the work that Jeff has done and the industry analysis that he has performed, and know that he has negotiated in good faith on our behalf.
I absolutely believe this is a good contract. We just need to keep in mind when budgeting that we're committing to an increase that's more.
So the only thing I would add
But the discount, I haven't had the time to do the calculation of the discount because we didn't have the actual numbers for the other years until just this minute, so.
So I would just add that this is the only bid we have.
Right, we don't have any choices.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly, we do not.
And
And
we
we're
need
lucky
to-
that we
and
have
we
what we
need to have
have.
buses.
Yeah,
I'm not negotiating a bus contract.
Yeah.
and we're lucky it's not a
hands are tied.
10% or a 7%, yeah,
This
we're
one,
lucky
you
in
can't
that.
even negotiate this. This has got to be bid. This is a bid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
I appreciate your due diligence and your looking out, but we need to move forward.
I agree.
Yeah.
I said
So,
everything.
second?
You want to call for a vote, David?
No, all those in favor?
It's
It's
unanimous.
unanimous. Couldn't see Jean.
Awesome.
Okay, Jeff,
Me again.
yep, the fire protection system.
Yeah, so this one for me, and I'll speak for Mike, even though I don't know what his real feelings are on this one, but this one's been around a long time, so this is a really good feeling to be moving this into the final stage after 4+ years and actually getting it done. So there's a letter that I wrote to you on that same day, posted almost 2 weeks ago. Gene, what page is that on?
112.
112, thank you. So I'm going to read the letter for the benefit of those listening and watching in. Humor me, it's a little bit longer. So as you know, the Hamilton Fire Department and Mass State Fire Marshal's Office are requiring the district to install a fire protection system and upgrade the fire alarm system at the Winthrop Elementary School pursuant to MGL Chapter 148, Section 26G. In April 2018, our member towns appropriated $850,000 in funding necessary to complete this project. The district has an agreement in place with the town of Hamilton and the Hamilton Fire Department to substantially complete this project by August 31st of 2019. That's in 3 months. The purpose of this memo is to recommend to the school committee that the district enter into an agreement for the general contract for the Winthrop Elementary School fire protection system installation and fire protection system upgrade project. So this next section is really for the benefit of Michelle and some other folks that haven't been engaged historically. So the designer selection law, MGL Chapter 7C, must be followed when contracting for design services. That means an engineering firm in procurement lingo. For any building construction, reconstruction, alteration, remodeling, or repair project that has an estimated construction cost of $300,000 or more and an estimated design fee of $30,000 or more, which this project qualified for. The Chief Procurement Officer is the person duly appointed by the committee to procure all supplies and services for the district. The CPO is responsible under Mass General Law for compliance with the policies and procedures of the Commonwealth involving procurement and plays an integral role in the designer selection process. The school committee appointed me as its CPO in November 2015. In my capacity as CPO on November 29, 2018, the school committee approved my recommendation to enter into a contract with Richard D. Kimball and Associates, also known as NV5, for designer services, which included a total engineering fee of $103,330. On April 3rd, 2019, I issued an IFB invitation for bid for the general contract for the fire protection system installation and fire alarm system upgrade at the Winthrop Elementary School in accordance with the procurement requirements of MGL Chapter 149. That's the Building Construction Contracts Law. Responses to the IFB were due to me by 2 p.m. on Monday, May 6, 2019. 2 IFB submittals were received by the deadline. Upon initial review of these submittals, it was determined that only one of the 2 submittals came within the approved funding limit. That's the $850,000 I talked about earlier. Upon further review and in collaboration with RDK, I have determined that the sole remaining bidder is the lowest responsible and eligible bidder in accordance with my rule for award. Therefore, I'm pleased to recommend to the school committee that the district enter into a general contract with New England Builders and Contractors, Inc. for a total contract amount of $738,000. Time is of the essence on this project. So, assuming you approve, we have 3 weeks to get going, order all the materials, and begin construction on Saturday, June 15th. And then we have 8 weeks to complete the project so that we can open the school for the students and staff. So this is extraordinarily tight, and there's an extraordinary amount of work that still needs to be done. This is the IFB. This has been my life for the last 6 months. 527 pages. So, RDK is awesome. They're our engineers, awesome to work with. And I've heard great things about New England Builders and Contractors. They have a ton of experience working with RDK, which is a bonus.
Yeah, it is.
So, I'm happy to answer questions. I've written a motion for your consideration. If you add the GC's number to the 103 that we have for the designer, we're within $9,000 of the $850, so we're spot on.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I guess it's 2 questions. What happens if they don't finish in time? And what happens if they go over that number?
Can't.
So, great questions. So if they don't finish, there's, in the IFB, I've written into it that there's a substantial penalty of $5,000 a day. I've also written into the IFB that they will have pretty open access to the building, so it's not limited to 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You know, they can get access to the building 12-plus hours a day, 7 days a week. And I've established start and end times and all those kinds of things to keep the neighbors happy. We have experience doing that. So there's,
Excuse me.
there's an incentive and there's a plan in place for them to start promptly and end when they have to end. What was your second question, Peter?
But what happens to the kids, though, if they don't, if for unforeseen
That's not
circumstances?
gonna happen.
Yeah, so I don't even want to go there. Yeah, let's not go there.
All right.
Let's
The
not
new,
go
the
there.
new patio up here.
That's not good.
Okay.
Outdoor
That's not good.
classroom at
That's
Winthrop.
not good. We will finish,
And,
yeah.
what was
Overages.
meant- yeah, they can't go over. The overages, if they decide, if they say it's,
Yeah.
that's the price, they, if.
Yeah,
it goes over
so,
that, then
you know,
they-
a lot of care and detail was put into the development of the technical specs so that every consideration was factored into what we put on the street, so that the likelihood of a change order is slim to none.
Right. Thank you.
Things can happen. If there was something that happened and it took us over the 850, you'd have to go back to town meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can't use, I couldn't use money from the general fund to fund this project. This is a separate debt exclusion, and it has to be handled with care.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
yeah. If there's any issues, you know, everybody will be kept up to date.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Did we already issue the bond anticipation note for this so that we could do the
Yes.
design services? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought.
I took care of all the financing back in December and January,
Okay.
and I had
Fantastic.
Peter come. It was the first meeting in January?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so that's all set. We're ready to go.
we're ready to go.
I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee approve the district CPO's recommendation to enter into a general contract with New England Builders and Contractors, Inc. for a total contract amount of $738,000 in connection with the fire protection system installation and fire alarm system upgrade project at the Winthrop Elementary School. The contract with New England Builders and Contractors, Inc. shall be compliant with the requirements of the MGL Chapter 149 and shall have been reviewed by council. The school committee chair shall sign the contract on behalf of the school committee.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you so much, Jeff.
Oh, no
Thank you.
problem. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you gotta do with all your spare time now.
Good to
but-
get started.
David, could I make one special?
Do some bricks?
Yeah, that's a wonderful donation, but that really needs to go. This is where all the resources and
Yep.
time has to go, or this building doesn't open.
Right.
And like I said, there's a ton of work that still needs to be done. David, so can I ask a favor of you? I want to hand deliver these contracts
Yep.
to New England Builders. Is there any way you can swing by in the morning?
In the morning,
And-
definitely.
Yeah, as soon as the kids are off and I'd
Yeah.
like to get it to them so
So
they
can
can.
he sign them now, or he needs to read them? Is
Yeah, I
that
don't
the
want to
issue?
slow the meeting down, but,
You don't have to meeting. It's up to.
Yeah, I could be in first thing in the morning.
all right, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, up next is nominate the Ed Fund for the MASC Friend of Education Award. This is completely slipped off my radar in the past few months.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's interesting.
What's that?
It's interesting stuff.
We don't have it.
When's it due?
When's it due?
Did you, do you email, yeah, I'm sorry. Email me that info, or,
I gave you my copy from my book.
so, then it's gonna be sitting on my desk. And this is what we couldn't find online,
No, I
right?
haven't been able to find it.
I didn't bring my computer tonight, so I don't know.
I don't have mine, and I don't have my information with me. So should we do a nomination, and also, vote that in, and then have someone do that? Or are you gonna do that, David? Who, are we gonna nominate someone to fill that out and make sure we get that in on time?
I would love to nominate someone and have to fill it, and I would love that to not be me. And it's not that I don't want to do the work, it's just I am really at capacity at the moment.
Yeah, I'm working on a different nomination for something else that I really don't want to say what it is publicly right yet. So,
Yeah, I can't do it
I
right
can't
now.
do it
I've
with
got-
graduation.
I've kind of got a lot with,
It's like
I
so
have a lot going on
hard.
the next 10 days, unfortunately. If it's after that, I could do it, but.
I will say that the Hamilton Ed Fund is here in perpetuity, hopefully. So I think if we want to hold off to next year, it's fine. If we're all at capacity and then we can do it, I think it'll be okay. So wait another year.
Maybe we should write it this summer.
You're right. I
Like,
mean,
write it this summer so
right,
that it's
just have it
ready.
ahead of time.
And then we can
Because I
just
know we have three
shove in some
members
new
who have
numbers.
a lot going on, at least, right now, especially graduation stuff.
Excuse me. Yeah, all right, so let's sort of table this for something undisclosed. I'll take a look at that info at home. And then see, and we'll come up with a game plan from there. So
Okay.
I apologize for not being prepared on that.
Well, we had some unexpected meeting
Which,
changes.
yes, which sort of brings up the next issue, the revisiting the school committee working groups. And where this sort of stemmed from is the fact that, I really am exceeding my bandwidth at the moment. And while I'm pretty heavily involved in the negotiating committee right now, I'd actually like to try and add a third member to the warrant committee, just as a fail-safe. And then actually remove myself from the communications committee, because I can't in good consciousness make the commitment. So, I mean, hopefully, life is going to slow down a little bit more. I think it's been crazy past 2 months for all of us at this table. And I'm not sort of trying to discredit any of that, but the reality is I'm actually stepping down from another board I'm on too, because I just, as much as I care about it, I just don't have the time to do it.
I was actually, I have to say, I'm surprised that I know how much work the chair is to do, and to see how many of these that you were on, I was a little shocked.
I don't like to leave things floating. It's sort of, it's a, a flaw or a, that I just don't, I don't like the idea of sort of not having someone step up.
So for the most part, I can do warrants through the summer, but I cannot commit to doing warrants in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just sort of having someone, just
I could then
available.
be
And
the
like you
third
said,
person for warrants. I just, when I travel, that's gonna be hard. So I have to figure out when, those dates would be if someone's,
You mean the
needed.
warrants? Oh, I don't go anywhere, so I'm fine with that.
Because you're the,
So I'm just.
I'm the
but-
second, I'm the second person for warrants.
yeah,
so-
well, like just today, I felt,
Oh, don't.
you know what I mean? It was
Oh, I
like,
thought you were
well,
the
I was-
first, because
Oh,
we
I
have
thought
you on.
Michelle was the
We
first.
have you as first.
She is first.
You
but
are
I was-
first.
Don calls me. Does Don call you?
Nope.
All right, so Don calls me just because he hasn't my number.
Oh, because Dawn doesn't have the right number.
So, and, so then I just want to make sure that
well,
everything's all
the
set.
next morning, I told Don that Michelle was the person, so,
He's still calling David.
yeah. So, but Don was informed the next morning at
Yeah,
7:30
and
in
the
the
worst part,
morning,
I was
so.
on property. I was at baseball practice in the front, right? So it's like I could have just ran over.
So if you
and
want to
done that.
just come off, I mean, because that's still, even to be that, it could be, Michelle and I can figure it out.
So tomorrow morning, I will have a conversation with Don,
Yeah.
and I will inform him that Michelle is the person. Could you email me your cell phone number?
Yes, I will.
That would be great. And I'll give,
Let me do it right now.
could you do that right now?
Thanks. So
Technology.
Put Stacy on there. So, I guess a legal question, Jeff?
Yep.
Do people need to be named to this subcommittee to sign warrants in case of a,
No, I think the way we're doing it is perfectly fine.
okay, but like say,
Yeah.
Michelle, Michelle and Stacy both happen to be away one week, and Jean's available, Jean could do it?
I would say that's probably not kosher, right?
The statute says you can designate one person to sign warrants.
Yeah, but if you're systematically going through and saying Michelle and David and Stacy, I think it needs to be those people.
Okay. So, that's
That would
fine.
be
Then I'll
my
leave my name,
advice,
then I'll
but-
leave my name on the list, right? Just to have that third option.
I would love to have your name on the list.
Yeah, okay.
Because you're right around the corner and, you know,
Well, I'm around the corner as well.
Okay.
I can be on the list. Through the summer, I'm available, or
Right.
I can make myself available.
Okay.
In the fall, it may be difficult in the mornings on Wednesday.
so I appreciate the offer from both you and Michelle, but it's difficult for us to keep track of the time of the year.
Right.
And when you go back to school
Right.
and work and all those things, right? So if we know somebody's committed for a period of time, it's easier for us to keep track of it.
When do you need to have the warrant signed?
So on that, no, same as every
4
other
o'clock
Wednesday
on
schedule.
Wednesdays.
4 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
And they've actually been.
Can you do it in the morning?
Yeah.
yeah, no.
I can probably, 4 o'clock on Wednesdays, even with professional development days on Wednesdays.
I mean, it's like, I could do it, but I would need to know before, Like, I couldn't have somebody call me the day of and saying, we need you today, so I'm probably not the good backup person.
So
That's
that-
fine.
That's exactly the
Right.
purpose of the backup, right?
Yep.
You gotta be available
Right.
on the spot.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I think this sort of satisfies that.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're adding Stacy.
So to just like carry float on the communications. Well, because, I mean, and so this really came about in.
Well, this is the thing about that, so this negotiations thing, right, that should wrap up
Hopefully.
by December-ish, which is around when the communications thing will pick up.
So, well,
So-
I mean, so I'm looking at this weekend. It took me 5 days to come up with that letter, and granted, there was a few things that popped up that I wanted to make sure we were covering. But, the reality is, I never had 2 hours to sit down and get something out over the course of this weekend. Now, that could change in a month, right? When baseball and softball are over and everything else, now the finals are done but, it just really made me realize how thin I was spreading myself, and I don't think it's fair, to the committee and then to the commitments I made.
I agree.
So.
And we also have other liaisons. Can someone remind me who's doing what? Just so I have this, so for the minutes.
Yep, I'm CPAC.
What do you mean? Oh,
Okay.
I'm Wellness Committee.
Carrie's Winthrop.
Okay. I just need this for minutes because I was like, okay, I'm looking them over.
Jean's Cutler, right?
yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to get out of that. Okay, thank you.
We're talking about the liaison to the
Yes,
friends, right?
yep,
Right. Yeah, I
yep.
was there on Monday.
W.
Hello. Okay.
Who was it that helped out and they communicated it? From the-
Tracy Mayer, but she's moving out of town, so I think she's
She?
probably not
Yeah.
interested.
I know. She was fantastic.
And you know
I
who
think we
else?
have a lot of talent in town.
Yeah.
If someone wants to, I think
Somebody
all
can
of us could
reach
probably
out.
think of 5 people that are in communication, so if, maybe for
That'd be
the
awesome.
next meeting.
Just to sort of help up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's easier being a little bit removed, writing a recap.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, we can make it even easier instead of doing our own Facebook page or somebody just being that person.
true, and I think that was-
putting it on like the Friends group, just copy and paste posts on HW Community and the Friends group, and boom, it's a
Right,
lot
we had-
easier
we had
as
spoken
opposed to our own page and monitoring and bringing people on.
Should we bring that up as a topic for next meeting when we get to that section?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I learned how to use Facebook.
So should we, so then,
You sounded so old right there.
Especially
no
because,
desire to
because
put myself on
Facebook
a
is not
Facebook.
where it's at now. It's now, it's on Instagram and Snapchat.
David,
Yeah.
should,
Even the
do
Fourth
you
Amendment.
Don't get on
have
Facebook,
something to
dude.
move- do you
Don't get on
want us to
Facebook.
do meetings before
She's
next
an-
meeting if
She's an
possible
Instagram
to-
guy.
That's right. That's right. You gotta be where
So
all the kids
our
are now, right?
Course of action, because our next
They've
action
moved on from that.
for these working groups, do you want us to meet and come together with a charge?
That's what I thought we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Policy has already done that.
It's
Okay.
actually, it's an item for the next agenda, is actually to approve the charges.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, so everybody should meet by our next meeting, which is June, what, can you?
5th.
5th, okay.
I know negotiations is meeting before then, so that'll be easy. That's our next meeting, June 5th. The goats. Give ourselves a nickname.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. We still need to sort of work out the communications a little bit more, but I just wanted to get the topic out there, and I'm happy to sort of continue that conversation and not drag it on any further than that,
So-
especially with Carrie. And I actually didn't hear from Carrie. Hope she's
I
doing okay.
don't know if it's helpful or not helpful. I do not know. But I know that Tracy Novick, I think Novick, with the MASC, has done a presentation on using communication and social media for school committees. So if she has a PowerPoint, I can ask her to send it. I don't know if the PowerPoint will be useful without
Right.
the
There's-
verbal presentation or not, but I'm happy to contact her and ask her about it.
Great.
Okay.
And I'm also going to charting the course in June,
Are you?
so I'll see if there's anything that they present and bring it back.
She may be there. Sometimes she presents on chapter
Okay.
70, yeah.
All right. Donations.
I say we take them.
I agree. Do we
I'm
need a
sorry,
motion?
what?
I don't think
We
there's
do. We
anything.
need a motion to designate Stacy as
Oh,
the person.
yes,
for
okay,
warrants.
thank you. You want to do it? It's,
Do it. I can do
You
it.
can do it, Michelle.
I nominate
Yep.
myself
I
for being
move,
awesome.
yeah, I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee designate Stacy Metternich as a, what would you call it? Additional signer? Is it possible?
Alternate.
Alternate,
Perfect.
alternate signatory for the warrants.
Second.
So, all those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Susan. Excuse me. All right, so now,
Do you
on to the
wanna
donations.
do
Are we
you
gonna
wanna
do, oh, it's
talk
another one
about
of
them?
these, huh?
Yeah, I don't think we have to.
We don't have to do each one, we can just say as an exhibit.
Maybe,
Yeah, the total is 47.
maybe the people who gave over $1,000, because that's kind of where there's a big break.
Okay. I will start with, I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee accept the donation from Excelis Technologies Incorporated for sponsoring of the robotics competition held in March for $150.
Second?
All those in favor? Excuse me.
Thank you very much for Excelis. I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee accept the donation from the DECA program for the amount of
To the
$4,700
second program.
to the DECA program, sorry, for $4,738 as an Exhibit L2. There's a big list, but I would like to also mention and point out for Michael Jones Institution for Savings for $1,000 donation, and Peter Rogal for Gold Circuit Electronics for $1,200. So thank you very much.
Second?
All those in favor? Excuse me. Yeah, so there is quite an extensive list out here. I just want to thank everyone involved in really giving to this great and continuously growing program. We are already at topics for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
So I have a question.
Sure.
When is Donna's last day, and do we have plans for her replacement?
Donna's last day, I think, is June 30th.
30th, yeah, 28th.
And plans, what was the second part, Steve? Sorry.
Do we have plans for her replacement? Is there
The
a
plan was,
posting?
now that you've named an interim, the plan was to post the position and have that person lead the selection committee, because that.
Okay.
See, I
person-
told her that would be the first thing we'd want her to do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So we'll probably get it posted, I don't know, first week of June, let it kind of linger out there until maybe June 28th,
Okay.
where that would be the deadline, and then I'm assuming she's going to start on July 1st, and that can be her first thing she does.
Okay.
So there won't be any overlap between that person and Donna?
Not according to that schedule, no.
Okay.
Do you think there should be? Well, actually, I think if you thought there should be, you would probably recommend that.
And also,
I mean, you know, it's been kind of a moving target, a little bit fluid, so
Right.
it's been hard, you know, and you can't hire somebody that, I wouldn't recommend hiring somebody without input from the person that that person's gonna be working for,
Yep.
particularly their assistant, so
Right.
it's been challenging to kind of put that thought process in place until now, so.
and last thing is, do we have, could we possibly, or is there an update for Long Meadow?
So,
Or is negotiations going to put that on their agenda for?
I think that's moving to the negotiation agenda is
Okay.
probably the update. I don't have a more solid answer for you yet, because we haven't even had a chance to
It's her
discuss it
question.
ourselves. So,
Topic for our next meeting. As we know, we've obviously hired our interim superintendent. I really think we need to take a look at our leadership, our district leadership team, and really reach out to them. I know we're all liaisons to schools, so maybe reach out to them. I think it's really important that we get their feedback and we collaborate with them before we set our goals for the interim superintendent. A lot of these people, with the exception of one principal, was hired by Dr. Harvey. So I think out of respect, we need to know what they're thinking and what their expectations are. And they know the pulse of our schools and what's happening in our district. And I think during this transition time, it's imperative that we reach out to them and have an open dialogue. So I would hope in the next 2 weeks, and again, being the new person, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but just email, call them. I know we're volunteer and a lot of people work out of town, so it's really difficult during the school day. But it's so important to get their feedback and talk to them and know that we're listening to them, because I feel that they have been reeling since the decision we made, which we're confident in the decision we made, but we need to share that with them and then also get their feedback. I think that should be our number one job within the next 2 weeks.
so
So do we have permission to do that, Dr. Harvey?
Sure.
Yeah. So everyone, the building principals are represented. And in addition, we have Peggy, Director of Curriculum, Stacy, Director of Special Ed, and who else?
Student Services.
Student Services. And who else am I missing?
What about,
That's Peggy.
what?
Jeff.
I'm all set.
5 principals.
The vice principals?
That's what they're saying, Peggy. So
Depends on how many people you want involved.
right,
I think you need to get all the leadership team, all their feedback.
right. So
They have there's great stuff happening in our schools, and they know what's going on, and I feel like we need to, and again, it's easy for me being the new person and working in town and knowing the schools because I've been here for so long, but it'd be great if we could connect with them and really involve them so our goals are attainable and for the good of everybody, too. And we're not creating these goals in a vacuum, just my rookie 2 cents. Sorry.
So I've actually already spoken to a few members.
Great.
And, I'm really trying to reach out to others too and accepting, to sort of piggyback what you're saying. I've also had a few people contacting me about being interested in being on part of that search committee and sort of asking me what to do. And right now I'm just saying, I'll hold your names. And I'll even open that to anyone if they want to email me, say that they're interested. That's what I was sort of going to bring up for a topic in next meeting. I don't know if we need to create sort of the committee within ourselves to create the larger committee next, but I think we should at least discuss it
At the next meeting.
at the next
yeah.
meeting.
So when September
call it.
comes,
Generally, you hire a company to help you, either NASDAQ, the MASC, what is it, Futures Management or whatever, and they will assist you in all of that.
And they help direct, and which is a good way to help be that liaison to help with all that,
So,
to put together for the full search.
Is there any information when we hired Dr. Harvey?
You were NASDAQ, correct?
Yes.
I mean, because that, if it worked out well. So why reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
So,
And the MASC helps
the
MASC.
Masco with that search, so there's,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
so I
And
think
they helped Dr. Harvey get the job at Masco.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We're not hiring them, then forget it. We're going, no, so it'd be great, though, if we get that in place at the next
Yeah,
meeting,
so that's
so we
what I
can hit
think.
the ground
I
running in
think this is
September.
the
Because that's what
conversation
we
we're probably
really need to
having
start thinking about that, because
So what
this
do you want to
summer
call,
we
what
want
do
to
you
put
just
it
want to call
together.
this as an agenda item? Just tell me.
So why don't we,
He's
Well,
like, I'm
there's-
confused.
so
No,
at the,
just-
so.
There's two, right?
So what,
Transition plan.
3 or so months ago, the MASC put together a list of companies that do this work. So,
It was on the, there was a
It was on-
list.
it was on
It
the
was a
listserv.
listserv. There was,
Transition planning, yes.
there was
Yeah.
planning.
questions about it.
so,
Was my suggestion first, though?
Yes.
Noted.
If it's not.
So,
You tell us the
love
youngest
this
of
listed as
5, I gotta make
transition
myself
planning.
heard.
Sure.
So,
Um,
I
And
think.
so what we
yes.
need to do is decide on, bring these companies, and decide who we're going to use for the search to
Well,
help us.
Well, and
Yeah.
Jeff, what's the dollar amount now about where you have to have 3 bids and all of that? Is it,
For which?
well, for a service?
Superintendent service search.
Yeah, you'd have to do that for this, because it's over 10
It's over
grand.
10,000.
So it's 10 grand, that's what I couldn't remember. Okay.
Will they change all the time?
I know, that's what I couldn't remember what it changed to. I was like,
When in doubt, just say 10
25,000,
grand.
50,000, I don't know.
Right.
You know what, I'll look into it, this might be exempt from the
Might be.
30B law, so I'll confirm that, but
Might be.
let's
Okay.
assume it's exempt, because it's a
Okay.
professional service.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so
So
we could,
you'll have that for the next meeting, that information?
yeah,
Just on whether or not we need.
whether or
Go
not
with
they
that-
can.
Go with that for now.
Yeah.
and if-
Okay.
If it's different than that, I'll let you know, but
Okay.
it's considered a professional service, so it's exempt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you, between now and then, do you want to gather data on those companies? Or do you want to talk about if we want to gather data at the next meeting?
That's sort of, where should we be? It's
But
like.
I'm asking you.
Well, I
I'm
think it's a
unclear.
group conversation, right? Because so is there only 3 companies? in Area?
I feel like there were,
More.
there were like
There's a lot more.
5 or 6,
So I think
yeah.
we come, maybe we come to the
As
next
of
meeting
young.
with
There's like
with a
5.
list.
Yeah.
That we can go
Bunch that
through.
Yeah,
There's
there's
5,
like Lyle
but-
Kirkman's
but
group,
there's like
and
3,
there's,
See.
yeah.
I know, I'm just saying.
But there's 3 that people have really been talking about as far as searches is on the listserv. And if you don't know what the listserv is, it's MASC has a listserv, so people will ask questions, and sometimes it's great information because people are asking these questions and other people are responding from different school committees. And you can ask questions, who's reliable, who have you used for a regional school district or anything like that. So I suggest, if you want some information like that, get on that listserv, MASC
Okay, thank you.
listserv, and that gives, people ask questions and you can get a wealth of information, start learning a lot of things.
Want
And-
to go through the topics, or?
I think
Yeah,
that's it.
please.
All
Can I-
right, so first off, just a reminder for everybody, we are starting,
Okay,
I'll let you, we're actually going to start at 6:30 on the 5th. We have a reception for our retirees. And then the regular meeting will start at 7.
All right, I always miss that.
And we're going to have the recognition of our retiring faculty members. We have a presentation from Food
Catherine,
Services,
yep,
from Catherine Donovan. We have a report from Don Gallant, the treasurer.
Second annual, yep.
Second annual. You have approved the subcommittee charges, the working group charges. We have a first reading of the wellness policy. We'll have the 8th grade field trip back with the answer to that question. I have transition planning as sort of the catch-all that we have there, and donations. And so that's what we have right now.
No, you answered it, thank you. Can someone explain to me, Michelle, you did a bit, when policies, we read them, so it's presented to the school committee first time. We get a chance to digest it and go through it, and then the second time, and then after the second time, we vote on it.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Correct. Unless for some reason, we wanted to vote the first time to suspend the rule on that, and then we could.
Okay, thank
And
you.
there could be, like the time that we needed to do the Corey, the
Right.
special Corey checks for the Project
Challenge
Adventure.
course, right.
Challenge
We,
course, yeah.
we would suspend the rule because that was something that was an emergency. It needed to happen quickly
Okay.
to allow us to provide the programming at the schools, so.
Great, thank you.
And we do have one section done, which we can, after our next meeting, bring forward to get them approved in bulk. So,
So you want to put first reading of section A?
well, do we have all that from Dorothy, though?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I think we have to meet and review, but I think we have a meeting schedule.
We do.
Yeah. So,
There's one on the schedule for the 10th.
that's what I think, yeah. So after. So after June 5th, will we be meeting again in the month of June? And who will be organizing that? Or how will it be organized?
And then also,
Like, are we going to meet on the 12th, or are we going to meet whatever, 19th? No, that can't be the 19th. Yeah, 19th would be the
19th
19th,
would
yeah.
be the next.
and I can't do the 19th, I'm out of town. Again.
I hate you. Not really.
So we should have one scheduled for the 19th. And that would be the last before we sort of do our lesson summer, right?
And then when,
So how
how
do we
Or
get
though
that
July 3rd.
organized? And who's going to get that put together?
I can work with Mike about getting that organized.
Okay.
But are we okay with June 5th being the last meeting?
and then, but then we'd also,
What
when
do you
would
mean
we
by
be
that?
doing
With Mike.
line item transfers too? Like during the summer?
Yeah, we should also add, so maybe at the next meeting, that's another thing we should talk about is our summer schedule.
Right.
And we might want to have a workshop, since we have an interim superintendent, just to,
With her, yeah.
with the interim superintendent. Adding to your list, David, don't forget it all.
Good news, it's all televised and recorded.
Right, I got it. Thanks, Mike. All right. Do you have anything else coming up? Someone make a motion?
Can I just say one thing? So
Sure.
if you have a little bit of free time tonight or tomorrow, you may want to email Bruce Tarr and remind him that we would like regional transportation to be funded at 100% and not at what some of the amendments are at below 100%.
Next time.
So, if you have the opportunity to do that.
I already did, and I actually CC'd his
Yeah, me too.
assistant, because when he's on the floor, he's not paying attention to emails.
But it would be good if you heard from all of us.
Do we have a text?
Just,
Like
we
No,
would like
it's
for
an
you to
email.
support regional transportation funding at
Fund the bus, Bruce.
100%. End of story.
On the bus, Bruce.
And
Fund the bus. We have a new bus contract, and we like some funding for it.
I move that we adjourn at 8:19.
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.